you so much, Reason, for agreeing to have this interview with me. Reason is the co-founder and CEO of Repair Biotechnologies, which is the preclinical first-in-class company first to start gene therapy for free intracellular cholesterol removal. So, and you're coming to ARDD for the second time in a row as a tier-free sponsor, for which we are extremely grateful. Reason. And could you please tell me, what do you think distinguishes Repair Bio from other longevity biotech companies?
I think the first thing to pick on there would be that we're one of the few groups that are working on gene therapies rather than small molecule or small molecule repurposing. The companies that do small molecule tend to move ahead faster than the others, so incentives matter. But gene therapies are the future, and we work on that.
Well, that's wonderful. So, as what do you think that makes ARDD so captivating, since you are coming here for the second time in a row?
I think it's one of the few conferences where the organizers are bold enough to just say, okay, let's do everything. Doesn't matter that it takes 5 days, 12 hours a day. Let's just do everything. So you can drop in, drop out, pick the things you like, but there's a lot of content.
Well, of course, because as we all know, aging is such a multifaceted field that we can't approach it from just one tiny path, right? We need a lot of solutions to tackle such a big problem.
Of course.
So from your past ARDD experiences, do you have any anecdotes or any highlights that you could share with us?
Well, if you want to talk to pharma people, it's a great opportunity. You'll find some of the folk that normally don't get out to the conferences there. You know, some of like head of gene therapy from Novartis, people like that. They turn up and you can have interesting conversations with them off the record. It's also a really great place to catch up with the people in the community that you don't tend to otherwise meet. A lot of the European groups don't tend to make it to all of the American conferences, but everybody turns up to ARDD.
And this is our great pleasure to have that. So picking up on this, you mentioned approaching the head of gene therapy at Novartis. Do you think ARDD creates an opportunity for you to just come up and speak, given your sponsor title? Or do you think there is like a line to talk with them?
Well, a cat can talk to a king. So conferences are the great levelers. Certainly we have a good chance to meet a lot of people that we would otherwise not meet if you come out to ARDD.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. Thank you for that. So given that this ARDD is less than 2 months away, which is crazy to think about, do you have any hopes or any specific opportunities or any talks you want to listen to?
At this point, my grand hope is that I will beat jet lag this time and actually be able to commit to more than 5 to 10 hours in most of the days, since there are so many good talks, and it's usually a good place to find out what you've actually missed. The community has grown considerably in the last 5 years, and it's now to the point where I don't actually know everybody, and I am surprised by companies popping up here and there that I'd heard nothing about. So it's good to catch up.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, because that's the place to catch up both on knowledge and the entrepreneurship part of longevity and the people itself, because we are who makes it. We as the people involved, aren't we?
Indeed.
So what are your strategies for beating jet lag? I know that as a tier-free sponsor, you can name your own drink. So is it one of the strategies, or is it not so longevity related?
Could you say that again? You broke up a little bit there.
Oh, sorry for that. So you mentioned that your grand hope is to beat jet lag. So do you have any strategies to share with other participants?
Yes, get there 3 days early. That would be the only way to do it, currently known to humanity.
Okay, so we'll try to offer that as a pre-arrival tips. So coming back to Repair Bio for a second, what do you hope to celebrate at the end of 2024?
Hopefully an A round and our first non-human primate studies. That would be good. That's what's on our schedule right now. We're pointed all efforts are pointed towards getting those things done.
Okay, well, fingers crossed for it. I already can't wait to read the paper about the non-human primates. Okay, so taking the spotlight more to you as a person, as a reason rather than a company. I know that you are the author of the Fight Aging blog, which makes the perfect title of a very valuable goal. So, what was your personal path to longevity? Did you have any aha moments that this is the field I want to get into?
I woke up one day and decided that I didn't want to die. And immediately after that, went to do some reading around and researching and found that rather hard. So then I started a website to make it easier for other people, because if I took all that effort to figure out what was going on and why and what the best approaches were, then it would be easier for everybody else if I did that. And then after that, I just kept writing. Apparently, that's my superpower. Just keep writing.
Yeah, this is at the effort that you take every day. I even read the post from today or yesterday about neuroscience. That was a very good catch.
Thank you.
So please tell me, if you had a billboard in every most important city in the world that could say one thing related to aging or longevity, what would it be?
I think I think it would be a two-line sign. The top line would be, here is the present cost of aging, and the bottom line would be, here is the amount of investment into treating aging as a medical condition. And the top line, of course, is very, very, very large, and the bottom line is very small. And perhaps that would change some attitudes.
Perhaps, well, that would need people to be good at math, good enough to see the difference, right? But definitely money is one of the best drivers to motivate people to do anything.
Very true.
So you mentioned earlier that within the last 5 years, there was such a boom in longevity that right now you can't even catch up with all the companies that appear. What do you think drove this boom, and what are the trends that you observe?
Well, it's always an interesting question. Where does bootstrapping, turn into the exponential curve up? Because people have been bootstrapping the longevity field since the 1990s, and there were attempts even earlier that didn't really go anywhere. So why now? That is always the interesting question. And I think the obvious answer would be that the technologies have become a lot cheaper. The biotechnology has become easy enough that the threshold of investment has fallen far enough that it comes into the realm of, now you could start a nonprofit to do some work. And once you can do that, then the nonprofits can start to talk more. It's a virtuous circle. But eventually the cost of doing business falls low enough that the priesthood shatters and everybody can join in. I suspect that that is probably why now versus why not in the 1970s.
So you mean that the friction is lower and it's easier to get in
Yes.
and has to support.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. So speaking of support, except for money, which is obviously the most important one to do anything, as we mentioned, what kind of support do you look for as a preclinical company?
Being noticed, connections. If you're a very well-funded preclinical company, you can ignore all of that and just do your thing and come back out when you're finished and tell people that you're done. But for the most part, we all depend on money, and money depends on attention. Therefore, you need advisors, you need connectors, you need to network, you need to make yourself known, you need to go to conferences. It's a continual process of not letting people forget that you exist, because at some point they are going to say, well, maybe we should help you out a little bit more to get to where you're going.
Exactly. It's all about human connection and being known. That's why ARDD is the place to be, isn't it?
Exactly.
So please tell me, since we mentioned the support, but we also didn't cover friction yet. So what do you think are the biggest hurdles, obstacles, or even small pet peeves that you might find in the field?
Well, of course, we have to talk about money, so that's boring, so we won't. But the biggest pet peeve, I think, is that a lot of people have just taken the easy way to produce small, useless products that are not going to really do anything but sell well. Everybody on the supplement side, for example, almost everybody, everything they do is going to do really nothing to the current human lifespan. There isn't enough ambition. And you can blame the investors, or you can blame the limited partners who invest in funds for their conservatism. But there's definitely not enough ambition in terms of let's work on things that are really going to actually move the needle. If maybe 20% of the companies in the field are doing things that actually will conceivably really move the needle, the rest of them, there's business as usual in biotech, meaning tiny incremental improvements, or things that do really actually nothing except make money for investors.
Okay, so what do you actually mean by ambition? Is it setting the radical goal to stop aging once and for all?
Ambition would be, I have a therapy here that really actually will add 5 years to life if it works out. Senolytics are ambitious. Mitochondrial transplantation is ambitious. Making another small molecule that slightly changes metabolism in similar ways to calorie restriction, that's not ambitious. That's easy compared to the rest of it. And that's why people do it. That's why people go into the supplement business. That's why people focus on drug reuse. They take the easy path. That's a proven paint by numbers approach to getting investors to have a return on investment, but that path does not have a high expectation value for adding years to human life.
Okay, so from taking the student's perspective, I really want to set an ambitious goal, but perhaps it might be a little bit too hard to get into starting from the very beginning, from the fresh out of bachelor's or out of even high school point. So do you have any advice for people who really want to fight aging, but have not established such a known reputation from all the conferences yet?
Yeah, so if you're in academia, I mean, just navigate towards things that interest you and have some connection to aging. All roads lead to aging. If you've followed your passion and got a PhD at the end of the day, then you could go take up a company position with any group that's working with a lab-focused program on something that works in the field. I mean, we've hired people from the pain field. We've hired people who worked on stem cells. We've hired people who worked on, a whole bunch of things that you wouldn't necessarily initially feel were directly connected to aging. But if you have the skills, then you can transfer those skills in. And if you have the chance to work with someone who's actually working on aging, then that's all the better. But there aren't many of those positions in comparison to all the rest. All roads lead to where you want to go eventually. So if you're in academia, stay in there because PhDs get further and farther in industry once they go there. If you're not in academia, then join the interest groups, talk to the philanthropists, go to conferences, meet people, see if you can find a place to fit in, because every industry has a very large support tail, both as jobs and as patient advocates. There's always a place, and there's a lot to be done.
Okay, so what I'm sensing from your answer is that interdisciplinary teams is the golden standard, aren't they?
Indeed.
Okay. Okay, reasonable. Thank you so much for your answers. Is there anything else you'd like to share about ARDD, about fighting aging, about life, anything at all?
It's an important topic, and we appreciate the founders of ARDD coming out and actually putting this thing on year after year to get things done.
Well, thank you so much. They will for sure listen to this, and they are incredibly thankful to you that you are coming and sponsoring again, because without you, it wouldn't be possible to be making such an endeavor that helps everyone in aging who comes to move a needle forward, as you mentioned. So thanks to you.